Good morning, everybody. This is Mark and Brenda here, and welcome to
Bitcoin Say What?
Boom. Good morning, good morning, good morning, Brenda. Did you have a nice weekend?
I did actually. Yeah, we busy weekend, and we had a nice crypto meeting with our friends last night, and yeah, it was pretty excellent.
We talked about UTXOs. I didn't even know what those were. I thought it was a candy. So we had a good time. Learned. We were learning. That's great. We like to learn. That's a beautiful thing. Hey, if you're here joining us this morning, please like, subscribe, smash buttons, whatever you got to do. If you like the show, please pass it along. And thank you for joining us. I just want to start with that. Yes, it was a great weekend. I caught my first fish. I am a fisherman.
First fish in your life?
What? No, my first fish of the year.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry.
It might actually be the first fish in your life.
It spits out other stuff. So I did catch my first fish of the year.
Was it a bluegill?
No, it was not a bluegill. It was a coho salmon, about 24 inches long.
Okay.
And it was a nice, spent some time with my brother out on the big lake here up off of Chicago. So that was my weekend, and got a little chance to get away, so it was nice here. So what are we going to delve into first thing this morning, Brenda?
Well, why don't you go to your first set of news, and I'll talk about.
Oh, okay. I guess I can.
So behind Mark is a beautiful sunset, or actually sunrise. So the sun will come out tomorrow, as Mark likes to sing to us a lot on the set. Yeah, so it is beautiful coastline of California. I love to show a bit of America that we absolutely love. And behind Mark is a 3D, well, actually just a regular chessboard, because I think that the lovely powers that be of our world are playing chess with cryptocurrencies. So go ahead, Mark.
Here we go. All right, from Bitcoin Magazine. Oh, by the way, this weekend was the 7 surprising facts about Bitcoin Pizza Day. Okay. The Bitcoin Pizza Day story is one of technology's most historic tales, but even if you know the Bitcoin pizza price, these facts might surprise you. I thought this was interesting. So, all right, here we go. May 22nd is now forever known as Bitcoin Pizza Day, the holiday marking the date in 2010 when the first real world good was bought with first decentralized digital money, which is kind of funny. You think about it. It's like, okay, this is where you put your flag in the ground, and it was in a pizza. Awesome, though. Okay. So yet, like every other holiday, be it Thanksgiving or Valentine's Day, Bitcoin Pizza Day might say more about those celebrating it today than any of the actual historical facts. Indeed, there remain those who view the holiday as passé, or even against the values of the Bitcoin community. There's always a give and take. In honor of the
we didn't even have pizza this weekend.
Yeah, you know, and we haven't. Bitcoin users Jeremy Jerkos Sturdivant would agree to the terms, and the 2 Papa John's pies would arrive at Handcheck's house. I skipped over an article, but basically this talks about the purchase of the 2 pizzas, because the gentleman basically gave 10,000 Bitcoin for 2 pizzas. So that's kind of what symbolizes this day. And I'm not going to read all these. So there's 7 things. I'll quickly just go through the headlines of the 7 facts. 10,000 BTC was worth just $41 at the time of purchase. I can't. Hanyeks? Oh, that's a tough one. Okay. Mr. H had to wait 4 days to get his pies. Mr. H bought more than 2 pizzas for Bitcoin. Jeez, it's Monday morning. I'm telling you. Jerkos eventually sold his Bitcoin. Bitcoin Pizza Day wasn't widely celebrated at first. Bitcoin Pizza Day wasn't the first Bitcoin holiday. And you can still see the pictures of the real Bitcoin pizzas. So
what's kind of funny about this is that with people trying to capitalize off of this, it's like, okay, we got. I mean, I think it's actually kind of cool to have Bitcoin Pizza Day, but it's like now they're just gonna just wear that one down to the ground, nub it down.
I think it's I think with everything that goes on in history, I think there are stories to be told. I mean, I think it's just it's interesting. I think the people, if you think about it, when you look at okay, what's 10? I think what's 10,000 Bitcoin worth? Today was it $325 million or something. It's crazy, whatever the number is. I'm not doing the math this early in the morning. It's a little too early for this cat to be doing math. So it's just, I always find it funny because you think about it, you're like, man, I just bought pizza with 10,000 Bitcoin because it wasn't really worth much of anything. It was a matter of just trying to get somebody so they could start to implement the process of saying you can
just to test it out, kind of. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's it. That's my story.
All right. Fund manager Bill Miller, unfazed by falling BTC prices, says Bitcoin correction is pretty routine. The founder and chief investment officer, Miller Value Partners, Bill Miller, is not disturbed by the falling price of Bitcoin, while acknowledging that the price drop looks extreme when compared to the stock market. But he says it is pretty routine for cryptos. If I like something at higher prices, it's safe bet that I will like it even more at lower prices. Right, Mark?
Yeah. Right. Well, yeah. It's pretty.
Who doesn't like a sale, right?
Well, yeah. Yeah, it's pretty simple, right?
Yeah. So it's one of those things that if you invest in it, I think kind of this statement right here sums it up. Why would someone, again, not financial advice, why would you sell as it's coming down? If you liked it at a higher price, then as it's coming down, you should look at it as an opportunity to buy more. So if you're not completely convicted about the investment into any of these cryptocurrencies, then you wouldn't consider to sell it on the way down. You would just hold on to it and because unless you enter it without really realizing how volatile cryptos are, it coming down is just part of the I don't know, like the almost the part of the personality of crypto is how I was trying to think about the right word for that. So the Bitcoin correction, while extreme if it happened to the equity market, is such a short period, it is right in line with moves we have seen many times in Bitcoin. Miller has long been bullish about Bitcoin, and his hedge fund has been investing in the crypto for many years. In April, he said that he did not see the crypto as a bubble, stating that Bitcoin was entering mainstream. In November of last year, he predicted that every bank, so he predicted this last November, that every bank would have exposure to Bitcoin. Since then, a growing number of major banks have started offering or are planning to offer Bitcoin investments to clients, including Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, DBS, UBS, and Citibank. And as a side note, update on the state of Illinois. They are on this today. They will be doing the third reading of the bill for the Illinois Senate, and so we'll see what's going on with Illinois today. I'll report back tomorrow if they pass the bill today or if they're going on for a fourth reading about Illinois getting involved into cryptocurrencies. I believe in the banking system. So
yeah,
go ahead.
It's I was telling Brenda over the weekend, I had seen on Twitter, I think it was Undocumented Bitcoin, also kind of put this news out there that Illinois could be like the third state in the United States to accept and start moving on the banking aspect of the cryptocurrency market.
It was called undocumenting, or was it called documenting Bitcoin?
Was it documented or undocumented?
I know of one called documenting Bitcoin, but maybe I didn't know about one called.
Maybe there's two of them. I don't know. I don't remember. I think it's documenting Bitcoin or something. I think. Boy, I'm. All right. Slap me around here a little bit. I deserve it because I'll get that right. But that individual or group of people, or whatever, whoever out there, did bring it to attention. So that's good. I like seeing that because not
just us, not just you and I. This little channel of 40
people. Yeah, we're out there like
talking about it.
We're over here. We're talking about this because you know what? Here's the thing. We live here, okay, and we see the business environment. We hear it. I have my ear to the ground. I listen to the local radio. That's for you young people. That's a little
radio. What's that?
The radio. What?
As a side note, I said something to one of our sons. I think it was Daniel, and he said, I said something about being in the car listening to the radio. He goes, "You guys still listen to the radio?" I'm like, yeah. Who doesn't listen to the radio in the car? They're like,
I grew up with it. It's free. That's the thing I love about it. It never cost me a dime. Anyhow, So,
go ahead onto your news or whatever. Just by the way, I might have to pop out because one of our dogs is reacting at the door.
Oh, you know what?
Apparently the neighbors now have a dog out.
They're trying to crush this monstrous channel of ours. Our dogs don't want us to grow up and become widely known.
Yeah. So go ahead and share your news so we can move on.
All right. Sorry, I was rambling a little bit.
No, I'm not trying to push you. I can hear I think our neighbor has the dog out, and the dog is going ballistic, and so now our dogs are going ballistic.
Yeah. I have no idea what you just said because I was talking and I can't talk and you talk at the same time. All right, here we go. It's about Blockstream. Bitcoin Magazine again. Blockstream acquires Adamant Capital, will launch new finance division. Okay. Bitcoin infrastructure company Blockstream will acquire Bitcoin hedge fund manager Adamant Capital to serve as the basis of Blockstream Finance, a new division focused on offering Bitcoin-focused investment products built on the Liquid sidechain. Good morning. Per a release shared with Bitcoin Magazine. Blockstream. Okay, so for those that don't know, Blockstream is it's probably more than this, but they're the ones that are putting out the satellites. So the little dishes out there, the satellite dishes to move the blockchain onto satellites. So for lack of a better way of describing it, hopefully I don't want to oversimplify it, but that's the way I wrap my head around it. Blockstream highlighted its recent launch, Blockstream Mining Note, a liquid-based security token that is designed to give investors exposure to Bitcoin mining as an example of types of financial products it wants to provide through new division. I'm going to quick read two more paragraphs here and not get into too great a detail. The groundwork laid by Adamant Capital will enable Blockstream to offer more innovative Bitcoin investment products following the successful launch of the Blockstream Mining Note. Per the release, Adamant Capital, founded by noted Bitcoin influencer Tour Demeester, is known for its investment research and Bitcoin Alpha Fund. Demeester will serve as an advisor to Blockstream Finance per the release. So this is just essentially another avenue by which the adoption and growing of this specific arena, we'll call it, is moving forward. So I'm always interested in stuff like this. Brendan and I, after quickly kind of reading this boy, I'm having article. Yes.
Not vehicle, but article.
this article. Okay. Yeah. That we're gonna delve into Blockstream a little bit more and kind of find out what that's all about. Maybe we'll get some video and stuff on that, because I always find stuff where it starts to go to another level as really interesting and want to understand it moving forward. That's it, Brenda Lotz.
All right, billionaire David Rubenstein says, unrealistic to think the government will stop crypto from being what investors want. Government stopping cryptos from being something that investors want is unrealistic. He believes that crypto is here to stay. It is not going away. It is clear that something that the market wants. In 2015, Carlyle was the world's largest private equity firm by capital raised over the previous 5 years, according to the PEI 300 index. Rubenstein said crypto has come from nowhere to being a force in the market. It's in effect a gold substitute for some. It's here to stay. Crypto is not going away, just like gold is not going away. It's here, and it's because people in the market want something other than just the traditional currencies that we have. And whether that's right or wrong, it's clearly that's something that the market wants. Rubenstein emphasized that if you go into cryptos, you should expect big ups and big downs and big fluctuations. And if you're not prepared for that, then just don't go into crypto. This is auspicious for Bitcoin, coming from David Rubenstein. He is chairman of the Kennedy Center for Performing Arts, former chairman of the Smithsonian Institute, chairman of the Council of Foreign Relations, and president of the Economic Club of Washington, D.C. So that is from, I'm sorry, that was from Michael Saylor, I believe, who said that. So.
Oh, it was. Okay. Yeah, very good.
I'm sorry. Let me go share another lovely piece of news. I thought that was actually pretty cool. So this is just more a little bit like, don't worry. I know Bitcoin's down. Be patient. Be patient. What do you say, Mark? You young grasshopper.
Yeah. Patience, young grasshopper.
Yeah. Huobi reportedly suspends future trading temporarily in some countries. The leading crypto exchange is also reducing its service in mainland China in fears of growing regulatory scrutiny. So the big FUD, fear, uncertainty, and gosh, I can't think of what fear, uncertainty, and what's the D?
Doubt.
Thank you. I was thinking despair. It's been China this past week. So hence the thumbnail for our video, the Bitcoin wall of China is what I put up, Mark. This crypto exchange, Huobi, has reportedly suspended futures and leveraging trading for new customers in some countries, raising concerns that the regulatory scrutiny facing digital assets. Huobi is limiting their services in a handful of jurisdictions, but didn't specify which countries would be affected. There were also no word on why the temporary suspension is being implemented, though it could be tied to perceived regulatory uncertainty in China. Like other exchanges, Huobi has seen a surge in sell orders over the past week as FUD-driven headlines continue to grip the market. The appearance of a coordinated sell-off and retail capitulation have shaved more than $1 trillion off of collective crypto values in the past 10 days. So a lot of China FUD coming this whole past week, more this weekend. And I wanted to, do I have something on this? I don't know if I'm going to talk about this, but there is also the, we'll keep going. There's the HS, go ahead and start sharing your stuff and I'll talk as you're doing that. The HSBC, which is the British Multinational Investment Bank and Financial Services. It's the largest bank in Europe. And they are, I believe, not going to be offering Bitcoin to their customers right now. They just kind of came out and said that. And I believe the HSBC is somehow connected to China. So it's just a lot of China FUD right now in relation to Bitcoin especially.
Wasn't HSBC the bank that was in Canada that said we're not letting you buy MicroStrategy because they hold.
Yes.
Yeah, if I remember correctly,
I had a piece of news here. I'm trying to figure where's it at. So
that's fine, but
I'll get through that. Yeah.
You start. There's so many doggone names in this this arena. So when you're like who is HS who? So they're the ones that said we're not going to let you purchase anything that has to do with Bitcoin, and that's it. Now go to your room. You haven't eaten your peas. Right. It's like, right. Oh, shut up. You know what? Shut your yappa. Okay. Yeah. This guy, I love this guy. Nobel laureate. Oh, it sounds. Paul Krugman quits predicting Bitcoin's demise. Now says BTC can survive indefinitely. Well, this is this headline's a little misleading because he kind of craps on us, but it's kind of fun because I've seen this guy speak and I just find.
Oh, I like that little quote in the middle. That big quote. Krugman likens.
Well, that's where.
Read that right now for anybody who can't see what you're reading. Read that big.
Paul Krugman likens Bitcoin to a cult that can survive indefinitely. I'd love to join a cult.
Is that an endorsement from him, or
I don't know,
or a dig at us? I don't know what he's.
I think it's kind of funny because I think most people. The one thing I love about the Bitcoin space is, I just find that it's such the exact opposite.
I know that, but they say that. I've heard so many people say now it's a cult.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
Everybody's like, I just want to do my thing. I want to be left alone, and F you and the horse you rode in on.
Yeah,
so
we're kind of. I'm not going to say for everybody we're libertarians or we just want to be left alone, decentralized. But that's a cult.
Yeah.
What is that? It's the complete opposite of a cult.
I'm too lazy to be a cultist. I'm just way too lazy. I just ain't got time for it. So, anyways, I'll read a quick.
Can you imagine you and I in a cult? Because we don't listen to anybody.
We don't even listen to each other.
That's true. Right before this, we were fighting probably. So
okay.
Right, go ahead, dear.
Two quick paragraphs here. Nobel laureate Paul Krugman said on Twitter last week that he has given up on predicting Bitcoin's demise. Yeah, because you know why? Because he's a moron. Krugman won the Sveriges Riksbank Prize in Economic Sciences in memory of Alfred Nobel.
What a title. What a title that was.
I know. No kidding. I don't think I could say that if I was completely drunk. Okay, for his analysis of trade patterns and location of economic activity, the Nobel Prize website shows The Economist tweeted last week, "I've given up on predicting imminent demise. There always seems to be a new crop of believers. Maybe just think of it as a cult that can survive indefinitely."
Well, I almost feel like he's endorsing it, but kind of saying like it's going to survive because they want it to survive. So without him coming out endorsing it, I think it's almost like his way
He's
of
a
saying,
fence sitter.
yes,
He's a fence sitter. I want it both ways.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to look. He's the guy, if I'm not mistaken, he's the guy that said the internet was like a joke. Was like when the internet was around.
Maybe we'll do a whole focus on him tomorrow.
What's that?
Maybe I'll do a bunch of research.
Nah, he's not. He's a. You know what? I kind of love these guys, and they're like, oh yeah, they sit in their ivory towers, and they, they blow their, puff their chests, and they got their little, little leather patches on the edge of their jackets, and they all smoke pipes, and they all talk amongst themselves and how brilliant they are. And honestly, I think it's funny because they look down their nose over their glasses at us. And honestly, I find it kind of funny because you know what? If you're gonna be intellectually honest, I want you to be intellectually honest. If you think it's stupid, great, I'm good for it. But give me a little something for the effort. Tell me why. Show me why.
So if all these people that you're talking about, I kind of got this image in my mind, and then we should go on to the news here because we're on almost 22 minutes already, and I still have like 6 things to share.
Oh my God, I better stop talking, man.
No, that's okay. I got a picture of like a lot of these wealthy people, like you said, with the leather patches, and they're like, fa, fa, fa.
You're like a professor, like.
So were they, writing off of their parents' money, and so now they can sit comfortably and talk about this? So then I started thinking, I hope if Bitcoin really does, come out to be this monster 10 million or $1 billion asset, a coin, that are all of our people who've invested in this, that our children don't become the fa fa fa. Because I'll kill them. I know we'll be dead, but I'll kill them if they turn out to be dead.
Well, no, I just think you have to look. If you're intelligent, and I've been around some fairly intelligent people in my life, you don't have to be an arrogant jerk. And I've watched him, I've listened to him speak, and I get arrogant, and it's just like I love listening to smart people. Right. Okay, I think you can.
But not fence sitters.
Yeah. I don't like guys that are like this, and is just. But maybe that's his shtick.
Yeah,
maybe that's why he's been around so long. That's his shtick.
Yeah, because he can get invited on any TV show because they know he'll fence it for their side for the day.
Well, he can play that. He can play the, he can play that, Dr. Evil, like, oh, this is terrible. It's not, this is not going to come to fruition because I say so, because I'm a Nobel laureate.
Oh, yeah, they did put that in the title. All right, so let's move on. Has Wall Street taken over Bitcoin? Institutional adoption is threatening Bitcoin's revolutionary mission, says Ben Hunt, founder of Second Foundation Partners. Hunt, founder of Second Foundation Partners, lead author of the Epsilon Theory blog, is convinced institutional adoption poses an existential threat to Bitcoin's identity as an instrument of financial freedom. So this is, I think this is a FUD piece of news. As investment funds, banks, and tech companies continue getting involved in the space, Bitcoin's fundamental properties, permissionless access, and censorship resistance are becoming increasingly marginalized. What we are seeing is the Facebook realization of Bitcoin, and it becomes absolutely controlled in a service to Wall Street and the government. Institutions have created scrutinized permission versions of Bitcoin, allowing investors to get exposed to the world's largest crypto without holding it directly. In Hunt's view, governments are encouraging Wall Street's co-adoption of Bitcoin, as it will make the leading crypto easier to control. As Hunt points out, financial institutions in the U.S. are required to disclose their customers' identities and transaction information. If you put money into Bitcoin-related funds, private funds, there are no more revolution, there's no more resistance associated with that, he said. So I think what he's saying is that at least the part that that is controlled by Wall Street is they get to control it. So maybe if they can get more of their hands on it, on that side of the financial world, they can maybe control the price around it, the taxation on it, or I'm assuming that's what he's saying. So maybe he's actually not necessarily FUD, but saying we better be careful because the part of people getting involved in crypto for the decentralization will go away. And this kind of part where like stay away from us, we just want to do our own thing, could be a compromise if we don't kind of stand up for what we believe as far as that side of it. So let me go ahead and bring in another thing here.
Yeah, I think the beautiful thing about Bitcoin is that nobody really knows exactly how this all plays itself out. I just think it's a matter of these questions being tossed in the air of where it does go from here.
So I saw this, and I remember you reading on Jack Mahler's stuff about how he's helping. I know he wasn't in Nigeria, but I think he was in Venezuela. El Salvador. Okay. So I saw this and I kind of thought about what you said, what he's loving about Bitcoin in El Salvador. Bitcoin's usefulness is on a whole other level depending on where you live. So possibly in the US right now, it's just more of a store of value, but over in Nigeria and probably El Salvador, it's a way of life now. One Nigerian explains the benefits of Bitcoin from an alternate angle. A versatile asset, Bitcoin can wear multiple hats. And I think that's something really to consider and really to realize. I'm giving my opinion here, including its function as a currency. One Nigerian on Twitter recently detailed how Bitcoin has helped him overcome a slew of monetary difficulties. Growing up in Nigeria, I see Bitcoin with a different lens than you do if you grew up in the US, for example. His tweet was part of a thread detailing a bevy of monetary difficulties, pointing out Bitcoin as a solution. You cannot spend more than $100 on international sites using your card. I'm assuming he's talking about where he lives. You can't spend your own money. You can't even buy a PS5 if you wanted to because of monetary controls. Money in the world can be siloed, especially when it comes to crossing borders. Sending bank wires require transacting during banking hours, which are, like now, like 10 to 4, Monday through Friday, while others forms of money transfers take time to settle in the back end and may require personal information in the process. Bitcoin, on the other hand, works synonymously without regard for borders or hours. Inflation can also be a problem in some countries, so storing native currency can be an issue. Having your bank account blocked because you took part in a donated in a protest he posted is difficult. If you own the money, if they own the money, they own you, which means if you have your money in their bank, if you have their money in their USDC or your own country's digital currency, they own you. They can shut your account down. And hence, cryptocurrencies decentralize your wallet, not your keys, not your coin. This allows us to be global citizens from day one, to trade in the world, to enjoy, he's talking about crypto now, to enjoy the prosperity being shared on the internet. He also noted that while you see magic internet money, what we see is a shot of freedom, a shot of prosperity, and we don't plan on stopping. I think that's
awesome.
Yes, that's almost like another way for us to realize this is not just about us and about us having a store of value just for our children. It's also probably the children of the world.
This is helping a lot of people.
Yeah, and some people it's current, like right now, because they're using it to transact with, right?
Yeah, well, here's the thing. I kind of go back to growing up as an American for the last 50 some years, okay? And we've always heard about how poor Africa is, and we've personally donated, we've personally given money.
Malawi, yep.
From Malawi, and helped dig wells and stuff like that. And I remember our priest at church from Father Philip saying, they don't want you to give them just it. So what they were doing back then when we were helping was doing micro loans and stuff. This is a different version of that. This is them taking their future into their own hands, because I think most individuals want to have that, be able to assume that control. So I think this is the beauty here, is because of the fact that now they're not being manipulated by the local currency. They have a Bitcoin that has a value basically across the world, okay? And their value is only improving, and it's by the work and energy of their own hands, as opposed to somebody giving it to them, because most people truly don't want to be just waiting there to hand something to you. Because as we've heard many stories, if we send food over there, these warlords would get a hold of the food, and they would hold it over the people's head, and they would use it as kind of bait or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. So now with the people having their own wallets on their phones, they now transact with each other. And remember that article we read a couple of weeks ago, and they talked about how I forgot what country in Africa, and they kind of said, "Oh, we're poo-pooing crypto right now," and the people just kind of went around it, and someone created their own app. What was it called, like Angel app? Wasn't it called Angel app? And people were using that, and they're like, "Well, you know what? Then too bad. We're just going to go on this Angel app," and they did their own thing. So, like, woohoo!
Awesome.
Yeah, hail to the people.
You keep going with your articles, because the other two articles of mine are, they're a little, they're not as exciting as yours. I like when you read too.
Okay. Because you like hearing my voice? Because you like hearing me talk? Not. Decentralization versus centralization. Where does the future lie? Experts answer. Hear what crypto and blockchain experts think about the dichotomy between centralization and decentralization. The dichotomy between them in human history seems to be opposing forces gradually overcoming or being overcome by each other. The extreme representation of centralized government is, on both ends, communist and fascist states, which many cannot claim to be working systems of control, considering the amount of violence those highly centralized states seem to cause. Another example is the World Wide Web, WWW, which was originally developed as a decentralized platform. I didn't know that. But look at Silicon Valley now, the tech giants. They control and monopolize all the data and value contained in the Web 2.0. And another one, central banks, which even the last year printed an absurd amount of money, causing high inflation rates all over the globe. And actually, you know, when I read this now, before I go down here, this kind of concerns me, or not concerns me, but I think we need to realize if World Wide Web started back in the day, in the 90s or whatever that was, as to be decentralized, and now Silicon Valley's giants kind of control that and kind of monopolize that, we should be careful with these. Hang on a second. Let's see if do I have it here? Hang on.
I don't know.
Oh, darn it. I have my little fart button. The blank coins, you know, the bad word. If some of those companies will eventually try to centralize this, so that's something actually to kind of history repeats itself, right?
Well, that's the big argument with, on one side of the coin, no pun intended, you have more your Bitcoin maximalists that are saying it's Bitcoin and Bitcoin only. And I kind of fare a little bit more in that camp because I kind of look at it. Bitcoin isn't controlled by any one person.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And when you have these altcoins, and they all might have great use and everything, but they're controlled by individuals that, have some sort of hand on it. So if they, if that individual becomes corrupted or and all people have some sort of amount of being corrupted, I would think that would lend itself more to being centralized. So this isn't bad mouthing one side or the other. This is just laying out a case for both sides, and you have to kind of wrap your head around what's more important to you and what does that world look like.
But it's also just to realize that if this happened when Web 2.0 came out and it was originally supposed to be decentralized, and then now these tech giants kind of control a lot of stuff, then we have to be careful when this is the whole goal of this is to be decentralized, and maybe one or two coins are going to be more the decentralized and the rest won't. And so it's something just to realize, when men are in control, like you were saying, Bitcoin is not really controlled by anybody because there's nobody leading that. There's no one person behind it because Satoshi Nakamoto, he or the group of people that person represents or that name represents have stepped away from it years ago when it first started. That maybe one or two coins are going to be the ones that are decentralized and the rest might not. So anyway, so go ahead.
Okay, so let's take the food example in Africa.
Yeah.
It was centralized, and when the people that were in control got the nice food sent over from the people in the United States and other parts of the globe, they centralized it and they controlled people. So I've never understood that. Nobody can answer the question: why does a man want to control another man?
Power. But money.
I understand it, but the power is that's my
narcissistic governments, narcissistic people.
Well, I get.
Sorry, but narcissism is crazy.
In my naive little brain, I just don't know. I don't want to control anybody. They're again me the cultist, leave me alone cultist that I am. I think it's so funny. It's like, oh, just leave me alone. We've always been that way. We've always been text me 10% and just leave me alone. Don't talk to me. Let me go do my thing. I'm going to be a decent human being. And that's the game plan. It's a real simple plan. Go ahead.
All right. So last year, the world witnessed the great rise of decentralized finance, DeFi sector, which has started a significant shift towards decentralization. We hope it stays that way. Monopolized data, monopolize data controlled by few companies, and Web 2.0 caused a redistribution towards individual users in the rise of 3.0 for web, even to decentralized governance that is now theoretically, technically, and practically possible. Blockchain-backed driven decentralization can potentially democratize society by regaining trust in the election process, or some argue by protecting democracy around the globe. While blockchain cannot solve everything, it still has the potential to solve a lot of economic and social problems, such as increasing diversity and inclusion, bridging the gender gap, empowering the unbanked, and combating economic injustice. Centralized versus decentralized represents the law of the unity and contradiction of opposites, which is one of the three core concepts of dialectics. One seems impossible without the other. Digital currencies were invented as decentralized systems, but then central bank digital currencies, the CBDCs, appear to counter the decentralized process, which makes some argue that they are killing the concept of decentralization by bringing back control to the government, not the people. Others argue that CBDCs will pique the interest of the masses only if they regain decentralization at their core. So I actually think that the CBDCs personally will help the average person kind of say, oh, okay, well, the governments are coming onto cryptos, and so then this must be okay. Because I think most people, not necessarily they trust their governments, but they might just be like, well, the governments are in control. If they're on board with this, then maybe this Bitcoin or Ethereum thing isn't so bad, and kind of a thing. So, all right.
I think they will be parallel systems. I think they'll just end up being
two different purposes, right?
Well, here's the thing.
One's a store of value, and one's just to pay for your bananas.
You know, when you talk about just one layer of Bitcoin, you say, okay, well, as it sits, is it scalable at this point? I don't understand necessarily the technology in total, but let's just say they add layers to it, which is my understanding of this, is that this isn't. I don't think this is always about just crushing the enemy necessarily and saying, oh, we want to crush the down, because I don't think that's necessarily. I guess how I look at this is it's competition. It's like you're both going to run down.
I don't think it's competition. Even Michael Saylor. I mean, I'm not trying to like say, oh, you're wrong. I'm just saying that I think that like even Michael Saylor says that we're not competing with the government's financial system. One's a store of value, one is to buy things and pay taxes with. So I just think
that's what we get up. We just buy things to pay taxes.
we work to pay
taxes. Can I get up today, go to work and pay taxes?
All right. So I'm going to read this last one. I'm going to show you three quick things and then we're out of here. Okay. Bitcoin whales accumulate with this massive dip, 122.5 thousand Bitcoin amid the latest market mayhem. The so-called Bitcoin whales, entities who hold between 10,000 and 100,000 Bitcoin, purchased 122,588 Bitcoin during the height of the market crash on Wednesday. Much of the foot traffic to crypto exchanges came from the US, as evidenced by Coinbase's 3,000 BTC premium at one point. People that were borrowing money to invest, they were wiped from the system. Every time we see massive liquidation is a chance to buy. I wouldn't be surprised if Bitcoin and Ethereum retrace the entire drop in a week. So that was, when things are dipping, if you've got extra money, you buy. So, and I'm going to show you three quick things because this was part of our title for today. So here's a little bit of, let's say, Bitcoin FUD that is starting to kind of come out in the news, and so just pay attention to this and realize this might be.
Can we change the name of FUD to fudge? It sounds more like
no, because then it sounds palatable. Okay, here's one here. Ethereum is a much better long-term crypto investment than Bitcoin. So basically, the news on the street is that everything's coming out that Ethereum is going to surpass Bitcoin. So that's one right there. Yep. Let me find another one. I had like three of them I wanted to share. So this is more just showing it to you. I'm not going to read the articles because I don't believe what they're saying. But I think
FUD for the day.
This is my FUD for the day because I'd love to talk about FUD. Will Ethereum overtake Bitcoin in 2021? Here's what you need to know. And then they have another one that's coming out. And some people actually believe it. And not that they want it to happen because they want Bitcoin to go down, but they just are so they believe in Ethereum so much. And I actually do kind of like Ethereum. I think it's a good something for DeFi that's going to be there. I just don't think it's going to, I think it's a completely different purpose than Bitcoin. So I know, Mark,
maybe it is.
I know you're kind of a Bitcoin maxi more than I am. Like I actually kind of like a couple of the other.
Yeah, so we got, you know, guys, we got to settle this in our own relationship. So if you're out there, you're like, I don't like maxis or I don't like altcoiners. Look, you got two people sitting here, and one's definitely one way, and one's this is how our marriages work for 30 some years. We haven't agreed on everything. With the important stuff, I think we agree upon, right?
Yeah. So this is kind of important though. So, but well, I do think that
there's important in it, but there can be a intellectual debate about it.
I need to convince you that not all coins are blank coins, SHI blankety blank coins. I don't think they're all those type of coins. I think there are a lot of those, like a majority of them are, but I do think there is probably a handful of maybe 20 that are real purpose coins that I think will work.
And they might be.
But this is a different thing. So
all right, whatever.
Here's the last
we'll ask about this later today off show.
Goldman Sachs Ethereum might overtake Bitcoin as a store of value. So I put that in the thing because just notice that if you're kind of getting new to the market, you're the average Joe and Jane, which our show represents, is a little bit of adoption of just realizing that, you know, Bitcoin and Ethereum and Litecoin are all here. They're not going away, at least for now, at least not those, but Bitcoin definitely not. That the news this week is you're going to start hearing a lot of that. And so I think they're wanting it to flip so they can kind of push Bitcoin down. So so that's it for the day. That's all I've got. Anything before you want to end it, dear?
No, just, hey, I think Bitcoin's around 36,000. There could be another drop down here this week. It could get a rough again. If you have a little dry powder, get yourself into the marketplace, start to understand it. This is very natural to this. One of the first bits of advice when we came into this arena was it's volatile. Okay, because it's new. Anything new is going to be very volatile. So when you wrap your head around it, ease yourself into it. Educate yourself. Educate. Don't be lazy. The more you know, the better you will be served. Okay, it's that simple. And this is your own education. You don't have to go to school. You really are not paying for it. The only thing you're paying for it in is your time and your energy. Okay.
Yes. And by the way, a plug to Michael Saylor, saylor.org, free education.
Oh, there's you know what?
He's got a free Bitcoin course, and then he's got tons of other free courses. So that's just
maybe we can bring in an education minute, you know, and talk about, say, a couple.
Oh, you're going to do that?
That's good. I think that'd be real good.
You're going to do that. You just said maybe I can do it. He's the king of not. He's the king.
Oh, yeah. I'm Delegator Dan over here.
So, all right.
Well, on that note, please like, subscribe, comment. If you can support our channel, this is a free way. We want your thoughts. If you don't like it, then turn us off. I'm cool with that too. We're just the average Joe and Jane, just trying to make a little bit of a difference out there. Hopefully we can. At here with Brendan and Mark at
Say what?
Boom. Have a great week. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Bye, guys.
Peace.
Oops.